Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this very special edition of the Burke Brigade.
Calm it down, Buster Brown.
It's Tuesday. I'm not Tuesday. I'm Matthew Burke, but it's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
September 12th, 2017. I'm Matthew Burke.
And I am Jennifer Burke.
And we are the Burke Brigade, brought to you by The Liberty Daily.
Your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Yes, indeed. Visit thelibertydaily.com. You will not be sorry. We are getting comments all over social media, all over conservative websites. People saying, boy, check out the Liberty Daily.
People saying, I started my day with Drudge for the last 25 years, but I have switched my bookmark, and now I started with The Liberty Daily.
The Liberty Daily, your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report. What? Flash, what do you want?
You should have put the dog.
What?
Yeah,
We're getting a stare down from one of our dogs.
Yes, our dog is having a stare down contest with me.
And he always wins. Okay, let's start off here. You're familiar, are you not, my dear, with fake black activist, agitator Shawn King? He's a white guy.
Yep.
He's the female, not to get gender specific here, because I know that's
I will get gender specific.
a thing of fluidity. But he's the male version of Rachel Dolezal.
Right.
And he is white, born white, two parents that are as white as the driven snow.
But remember, he threw his dead mother under the bus.
Right.
Because his mother is dead, and he claims that she had an affair with a black man, and that black man is his father. So
what a sweetheart of a guy he is.
Yeah, there's no proof, it's just his word, but down for the struggle so I can get my paycheck and be the next Al Shake him down Sharpton.
He's got on, he's trying to make himself look black, but I've seen pictures of him as a little kid.
Hair, shaved clothes, little mustache. Back in the day, he'd have been accused of being in blackface.
Yeah. I mean, what about cultural appropriation?
Right?
Sometimes
it's okay.
Isn't it
in the case of Rachel Dolezal, the white woman who posed for years as a black woman and ran the NAACP in Spokane.
Growing up, she looked like a redhead with freckles.
Yes. And Shawn King, it's okay to appropriate blackness, but dare to be Kim Kardashian or any other kind of celebrity and Ariana Grande, whoever, and wear cornrows, and oh my God, Black Twitter will come after you know what. Cultural appropriation.
But you have to promote communism. As long as you're promoting communism, there's no such thing as a microaggression. You can be anything you want, keep hope alive, right?
In fact, it was the terrorist-loving Linda Sarsour, the new feminist darling, the Muslim feminist darling who supports terrorism, who said recently, if I say I'm black, I'm black.
You know what? If I say I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and I'm 7'2" and have an amazing skyhook, then dad burn it, I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, have an amazing skyhook, I'm 7'2", and I'm the all-time NBA scoring leader. I mean, we are promoting delusion. We're getting off track, though. So, delusional, fake black agitator, Shawn King, he called on the NFL a national boycott of the NFL. Not because of the flag setters that were disrespecting the American flag and everything it stands for, the greatest country on God's green earth, but because they wouldn't hire
two-bit failed quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
Communist, Castro-loving, cop-hating, Marxist. He says cops are pigs. Wears socks that say cops are pigs. Wears T-shirts, showing he's having a love affair with communist butcher Fidel Castro. But that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good in the hood.
So he's calling for a boycott. But you know what's weird? What's weird? So last night he went on a little bit of a Twitter rant.
Wait a minute. Wasn't last night not one, but 2 Monday Night Football games?
Oh, but he was commenting on a lot more than that. Listen to these tweets. It's September 11th at 11:40.
Oh gosh.
So what he did was he spent all weekend watching the NFL that he was supposed to be boycotting, and he's tweeting, here we go. The Browns need Kaepernick. Next tweet. The Jets need Kaepernick. Next tweet. The Bengals need Kaepernick. Next tweet. Number one, the Bengals don't need Kaepernick. Okay, Andy, what's his name, had a bad game,
Dalton.
But he's had a decent, better than average NFL career. He's been a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, once again, Colin Kaepernick, one good season.
Right. So the Colts need Kaepernick. Okay, you could make that case, but they probably don't want the freak show, turning on at least half, if not 75% of their fan base. The Texans need Kaepernick. Yeah.
Ain't happening.
He might not make it out of the stadium in Texas. I'm just saying. The Cardinals need Kaepernick. Yeah, because we all know that Colin Kaepernick is better than Carson Palmer. Granted, Palmer's probably going downhill a little bit. The Bears need Kaepernick. I mean, so every team needs Kaepernick, and he's an expert somehow.
Does Shawn King even know a damn thing about football?
I doubt it.
I mean, does he understand what Kaepernick's stats were? It's like they take these people. I mean, of course, I guess I should expect it from a fake black man who's actually a white man who wants to talk about white supremacy and white privilege when he is living the ultimate white privilege life by posing as a black man and getting all these accolades, acting like he's black. But I digress. So, but does he know a thing or two about football? And does he understand Colin Kaepernick's history and Colin Kaepernick's
stats?
And
he supports it.
His statistics?
He doesn't care.
His statistics does not support this elevation to
godlike
quarterback status that these social justice warrior idiots who probably don't know anything about football would like you to believe.
It doesn't matter. This little commie bastard thinks he gets to pick who gets to be quarterback in the NFL because Colin Kaepernick's a commie bastard just like he is.
I have news for you, Shawn King. SK, what? This was what, boy?
You racist. You're such a racist. God, you're racist.
If you want Colin Kaepernick so desperately to have a job in the NFL, why don't you race-baiting, America-hating bigots pull your money together, buy an NFL team, then you can make the hiring decisions.
Oh, but that would be too hard, see.
And I just want to say I'm blacker than Shawn King because both my parents are black.
And I would like to say for the record, as a white man, I am blacker than Shawn King. Because I am more Cherokee Indian, I think, than Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren.
Most definitely, huh?
Now, Shawn King, he got quite a little bit of pushback because obviously he's watching the games and seeing which quarterbacks had bad games, right? And so his boycott's kind of a funny thing. But he said, it's a lie. I didn't watch a single game or even put it on the stations. Canceled Sunday Ticket and followed sports commentators for updates. Do you believe that? I don't believe that.
So, well, okay, that's even more pathetic.
If you lie about your race, what else are you going to lie about?
Exactly.
Hi, I'm a woman. Hi, I'm a cow. Hi, I'm a pig. Hi, I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You know, that's even more pathetic, Shawn King, that you seem to think that you are boycotting the NFL by staying glued to your computer following sports commentators to see what they say. And I doubt that any sports commentator, well, there might be one far left loon for sports commentator that would say all those things that you said. This team needs Kaepernick. None. His statistics, his stats.
Maybe on ESPN.
In the football world, SK, we actually don't say statistics. We say stats. His stats don't warrant that.
They don't warrant that for the trouble he is. Is he better than that Scott Tolzien or whatever his name is on the Colts? Yeah, probably. I think I'm probably better than him as a 55-year-old fat guy who can't run. But that's not the point.
Nope.
Is he worth the distraction?
No.
Is he worth it? No, he's not.
Look.
And you know what? Hardly no one is. I mean, you got to be a superstar.
To remind the audience, remind our vast listening audience, who was it that said that about Mean Joe Green?
Oh, Franco Harris. He said, back in the day.
Back in the day, baby.
Yeah. Back in the day, in the 70s, the Steelers, I think, won 4 Super Bowls, and they were a badass team. I hated them growing up. I hated them because they were so good. Because they were so good, right?
Respected the talent.
Right?
Hated
yeah, of course. Respected the talent. They were great. But Franco Harris, who last time I checked was blacker than Shawn King, said, hey, back in the day, there wouldn't have been Colin Kaepernick sitting for the national anthem because Mean Joe Green,
a black man,
and Jack Lambert, a toothless, mean son bitch, would have taken him out, would have taken care of it. They would have dealt with the situation.
They would have dealt with the situation.
You sounded like Doug.
Doug Heffernan, I know. I meant to.
Situation. Oh my God, when he's trying to act like he's cool. Funny stuff, my dear. So speaking of
leftist loons at ESPN, so
I like that Clay Travis. I don't know that much about him, but he calls them MS ESPN,
right?
Like MSNBC, because they're basically the megaphone for the Democrat Party that masquerades as a sports network.
God, you know what? And it ticks me off to no end. When I watch sports, I watch it to decompress.
And escape politics.
I don't want to be lectured to by these... if I wanted to be lectured to by leftist loons, I would watch MSNBC or CNN, but I don't. So, I don't want that mixed in with my sports. But ESPN, they think it is part of their mission, very obviously, to be the megaphone for social justice warrior, far left, anti-America loons.
In other words, communist propaganda.
Right. So, there was an ESPN Sports Center host, Jemele Hill, black woman, who put out a series of tweets calling President Donald Trump a white supremacist. Now, I'm going to read you her tweets.
Hold on just a minute. I got a question for you. Can you hypothetically imagine what would have happened if a white commentator, any employee of ESPN, a reporter, a host, said one bad word about Barack Obama? Their head would have been on a stick.
I don't even have to hypothetically think about it because Kurt, what's his name?
Oh, Schilling?
Kurt Schilling.
Oh, that's right. They canned him immediately.
Kurt Schilling was canned immediately for criticizing Barack Obama. What he said about Barack Obama, criticizing him, didn't compare at all to this. And then we'll get to someone else whose words didn't compare at all to this. Listen to what this Jemele Hill at JEMELEHILL said. Donald Trump is a white supremacist who has largely surrounded himself with other white supremacists. She said this on September 11th.
That's absolutely shameful. Forgetting what you think about Donald Trump, it's completely unpatriotic to say something like that publicly against the President of the United States when everybody else is sitting around, crying and weeping about what happened 16 years ago and praying to God that there's another attack by these radical Islamic terrorists on the same day, because they tend to like to do things on September 11th.
Which is why they attacked Benghazi on September 11th, 2012. Then she tweeted 3 minutes later, Trump is the most ignorant, offensive president of my lifetime. His rise is a direct result of white supremacy, period. 3 minutes later, how is it a false narrative? Did he hire and court white supremacists? Answer, yes.
Answer,
and 1
no.
minute later, he is unqualified and unfit to be president. He is not a leader. And if he were not white, he would not have been elected. Now, I'm going to just say one thing in regards to that, Jemele, JH, sister girl. If Barack Obama were not black, he would not have been president, and he would have been criticized throughout his presidency. He was off limits for criticism because of the color of his skin.
You can't say that.
He was off limits. I can, because I'm black, and Eric Holder's already said that it's impossible for me to be racist. He was off limits.
What do you call him? It's so racist.
He was
the
affirmative action president.
God, that's racist.
Affirmative action president. But, he was He was Jewish when he wanted to be. He was Irish when he wanted to be. You know, it was just
homosexual when he wanted to be.
Yes, the first gay president.
Although that probably wasn't much of a stretch. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So ESPN, one would think ESPN would have been livid. Would have been absolutely livid over that. Here's the ESPN weak-ass statement about what Jemele Hill, her rant, calling the President of the United States a white supremacist. The comments on Twitter from Jemele Hill regarding the President do not represent the position of ESPN. We have addressed this with Jemele, and she recognizes her actions were inappropriate.
I doubt that.
I guarantee you, if she were a white host or hostess, and she said those words about Barack Obama, she'd been sent packing.
She'd be down at the unemployment office.
We heard about it with Kurt Schilling, and there was another, and this is a young girl. I don't know how long she's been with ESPN. I don't even know who the heck she is. But, you know, she just got a slap on the wrist. Bad girl, Jemele, don't say that. At least, you know, don't say it in public. If you work it into your commentary on the web, on television, that's really what we want.
And notice this. Notice what they didn't say. They didn't come out and say, we at ESPN do not believe the President of the United States is a racist. You know, after all, he did say all racism is evil. I don't know what is so difficult about that to understand.
Right.
You know, because he didn't kiss the asses of the anti-American Antifa communist goons, because he also called them out as being evil, which they are evil.
They're supposedly untouchable. They're the elevated version of Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, the militant wing of the Democrat Party. How saying all racism is evil is somehow getting in bed with white supremacists. You have to be a leftist lunatic to believe that. But they know what they're doing.
Manipulation.
Yeah,
manipulation.
It's propaganda.
Let's look at
deception.
Another female ESPN host, Linda Cohn, who has been with the network for over almost 25 years.
Let me just interject something. I remember now. She is a quality journalist.
She knows her stuff.
She was on, I believe it was King or Cairo TV back when I lived in the Seattle area, and she did sports, and I always loved her. I loved her so much more than whoever was doing the female broadcasting for ESPN last night, who her voice sounded like fingernails on a chalkboard, and I tweeted this last night. She sounds like a dude going through a sex change operation who needs a little more testosterone. Because
you mean estrogen?
No, she needed more testosterone. She was like
a dude?
She sounded. She didn't sound like a woman. I'm sorry, I'm old school. I like my women to sound like my women, and the men to sound like the men. You know, and she was like this.
She was horrible.
You know, 60-40 edition, and it was just odd, and it sounded weird. And you know, if you have a female, I don't even know who she is. I don't even know her name. I don't care. But you know that like that Linda Cohen or even Robin Roberts, who I know is a big lefty, but she was a good sports
right. It was
person
just boring.
in the
It was just absolutely boring.
She was horrible. And just so you know, as we said, we know we're not sexist here. Rex Ryan also sucked.
He was.
We shut it off.
He was. Yeah, we did, and we don't normally do that. But Linda Cohen. Now, remember when football ratings were going down last season? Then it came out how many subscribers ESPN has lost through the years, especially in the last year or two. ESPN denied. They tried to spin it and say, oh, this always happens on election years. This always happens. It's no big deal. Mm-hmm. But then finally, I think late last fall, they admitted, or maybe early in the year, this year, admitted that their leftism, their infusing leftist politics, hurt them.
Because third-party polls were showing that's the number one reason people were checking out. They didn't want to be preached to by, wannabe MSNBC hosts.
So Linda Cohen, in late April and early May, talked about ESPN's journey into politics, and she said, I felt that the old school viewers were put into a corner and not appreciated with all these changes and the focus of ESPN's coverage. And they forgot their core. Remember when they were ramping up all this crap? We were like, Do they know who their freaking audience is?
Yeah.
Do they know who their audience
they
is?
don't.
Because they're not into that. You can never forget your core and to be grateful for your core group. And she talked about ESPN's leftist politics and how she thought that was hurting their ratings and hurting their subscribers. And she apparently, according to Clay Travis, outkicked thecoverage.com, was told by ESPN president to not report to work for a while and to think about what she said. So this woman who had helped build for 25 years,
helped build the network, helped build ESPN to they were the dominant force in football coverage. And remember when Fox Sports 1 came out? I remember when it first was released, and we watched it. We're like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's not that great. Well, you know what? There's been a rise in Fox Sports 1 as an alternative, better. And it's gotten tons better as an alternative to ESPN, as ESPN has decided to put social justice warrior, identity, race-based politics, and before sports.
Before sports.
Yep. And how do all businesses fail? Typically, they quit listening to their customer. They quit serving their customer. You know, and how do political parties fail? Like the Republican Party is doing right now. They don't care about their. She called it core. I would call it base. Mm-hmm. You know, you crap on your most loyal customers. Guess what? You're going to fail. You're going to eventually fail. May take a while, but you'll eventually fail. This happens with companies all the time. You know, you'll see car companies try to be all things to all people. They realize they can't do it. You know, General Motors is a good example. And then all of a sudden the car crash hits and, you know, the government forces them to get rid of Pontiac. They have to scale back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is what happens. If you better pay attention to your customers or you're not going to make it.
Exactly.
All right. Speaking of progressive leftist insanity, political, you could call it, rock and roll, baby. That was kind of good, actually. You could call it cultural Marxism. You could call it political correctness. But whatever it is, it's anti-free speech, it's anti-American, and it's wrong. Duke University, just think Duke lacrosse team, if you will.
Yes, exactly.
Same place. They have launched, this is from the Daily Caller today, the Duke Men's Project for the second year this September in an effort to combat toxic masculinity and the harmful narratives. So not stuff that's really happening. The narratives. I.e. lies leftist kind of like fake rapes, fake rapes, that kind of stuff.
Right.
About gender roles that circulate around, they're just circulating in the air. You can't see them. There's these little microaggressions floating around like fire ants.
I guess Duke didn't see the toxic masculinity that waded through the waters and rescued tons of people in Texas.
Yeah, or the toxic masculinity that stormed the beaches of Normandy to win World War II.
Idiots.
Unreal. This is part of cultural Marxism, and what they want to do is destroy America by deballing the men, by filling all the men with estrogen and filling all the women with testosterone. So we've got a literal freak show of a country.
Isn't that part of the Communist Manifesto?
Yeah, absolutely. Accept sexual perversion as normal and healthy and acceptable. There's no such thing as men. There's no such thing as women. All this gender fluidity BS. Oh, God.
And these lefties playing freaking God. Playing God. Acting like they could... You know what? God invented Adam and Eve. Period. That's it.
Speaking of Adam and Eve, they're falling for the same lie that the serpent told Eve. Eat of this apple and you can become like God. And basically that is what the Democrat Party has been trying to do. Now they think they can control the weather.
Yep.
it says somewhere in the Bible something about, if they really want to believe a delusion bad enough, I'm paraphrasing obviously, God will let them believe their delusion. He will allow them to. He will let them walk off the cliff so that hopefully they will learn their lesson. Speaking of evil, and I know this is a topic, my dear, that is near and dear to your heart.
Amen.
But Planned Parenthood, i.e. Planned Butcherhood, the baby body parts chop shop, they admitted, one of their leaders admitted today that their abortion mills target...
baby killing factories.
Yeah, target blacks and Hispanics. Huh. I guess they're living up to the charter that their founder, Margaret Sanger, had.
Kill weeds.
Human weeds. Get rid of the human weeds. Let's get rid of them. Mass extermination. Adolf Hitler style.
Hillary Clinton's mentor.
Hillary Clinton's mentor. Okay, so reading here from Life News, excellent site, Life News, like a broken clock that's right twice a day, you can count on Planned Parenthood to tell the truth every now and then. It's just that when the truth is out, it's about as ugly as you can imagine. That's a great setup. Take the most recent example, an NPR news report out of Atlanta, a glowing look at Planned Parenthood Southeast as the abortuary it opened on the east side of Atlanta September 9th. Celebrating the new East Side location, which effectively replaces a downtown facility that was shut down in March of 2016, Planned Parenthood Southeast President Stacey Fox reminded the world about the long-term business strategy. It's
just business.
They're in the business of killing babies for the nation's leading abortion chain. Target minorities and poor people, then profit off them through abortion.
And
Quote,
then illegally alter the abortion process so you can make the most money out of body parts.
Yeah, sell the body parts off. Absolutely horrific. Quote, predominantly our patients are about 25 to 29 years old, women of color living at 150% or more under the federal poverty level. You know what? You can't live 150% below the poverty level. Mm-hmm. If you were 100% below the poverty level, that would put you at zero income. If you're below more than 100%, you're in the negative. You've got a negative income. That's not even possible. So obviously they're not very good at math unless it comes to the number of babies they kill. Exactly. That they are very proud to...
or figuring out their bottom line of how much money they make off their body parts and organs.
Which is illegal, by the way, and comes with a prison sentence of 10 years. But, nobody in this country has the balls to do anything about it. 150% or more below the federal poverty level. And those are the women who qualify for Medicaid. In other words, taxpayer funding.
Yes.
Each year, over 300 preborn children are aborted. I'll change that to murdered in Georgia, each representing a boost for Planned Parenthood Southwest bottom line.
A boost. Each baby we kill boosts our revenue. Sickos. Satanists.
Yeah, they really are. They're carrying out Satan's mandates, who wants to destroy creation, and they're more than happy to oblige as long as they get a check. Okay, we were talking a little bit earlier about Castro-loving, cop-hating communist Colin Kaepernick, but not everybody in the NFL hates America.
Amen.
Not everybody hates our police. Not everybody kisses communist butcher Fidel Castro's ass. We have here tight end with the Cincinnati Bengals, Tyler Eifert. And God bless this man.
Bless you, brother.
He's been in the league 3 or 4 years, I believe. He's 27 or 28 years old, probably. Good quality tight end. I've had him in fantasy a couple times. He's had some injury issues, but he wrote an op-ed in Medium, and I'm just going to read a little bit of this to you. I know it would probably best to stay out of it, he says, but when you believe in something as much as I do, it gets to the point where you want both sides to be heard. I am not questioning anyone's reasons or rights to protest, but instead the method. This entire protest about raising awareness for racial inequality has gotten lost in the media and turned into a debate about whether to sit or stand for the national anthem. I want to take this time to remind everybody why I stand. I stand because I love my country, which is a lot different than those who don't stand, who absolutely hate their country. Mm-hmm. I stand because I want to honor the people putting their lives on the line for me on a daily basis in the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, or as Barack Obama would say, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Coast Guard. I stand because my cousin is a pilot in the U.S. Air Force, risking his life flying F-15s in active war zones. He takes pride in his job protecting Americans, a sacrifice that all members of every branch in the United States military willfully take. For the first game this weekend against the Baltimore Ravens, it's like, gets me all choked up. I'm writing Pat Tillman's name on my cleats. And
for those of you who do not know, does he explain who he is?
I think everybody knows who Pat is.
Well, I'm just saying, Pat Tillman played for Arizona State University Sun Devils, and then he went on to play for the NFL.
For the Cardinals.
For the Cardinals, and he wasn't in NFL for very long before he decided that his calling was to serve in the military.
Gave up his multi-million-dollar career.
Multi-million-dollar career to go serve his country in the military, and ended up losing his life.
Yeah.
In battle, on duty.
Just a great American. Really sad, though. I am going to write another person's name from the United States military, where active, retired, killed, or missing in action, or a prisoner of war. These people are why I am standing, because they gave me and everyone else, I'm going to get choked up, everyone else a chance to have freedom and earn a living playing a sport I love. When you look at what is happening all over the world today as a fellow professional football player, I am in awe of Pat Tillman's courage. In 2002, he walked away from millions of dollars and a dream most people couldn't imagine achieving, to do one thing: fight for this country. Pat wasn't fighting for himself. He was fighting for one group versus another. He was fighting for Americans.
And when Colin Kaepernick and his ilk
choose
to sit down, stay in the locker room, or lift their fists like they're freaking radical Black Panthers from the 1960s, yes, he is spitting on people like Pat Tillman.
He's spitting on the grave of those who died for this country. And he knows it. That's the thing, he knows it.
You know what? I have a news for you, Colin. Maybe your buddies in Cuba or Venezuela will start a football team so you can quarterback for them.
Right, or maybe you could just go be a good little commie there and be happy.
Right.
Where everyone's equal.
Yeah, everyone's equal.
You don't have anything to wipe your ass
rocks,
with, but
I'm
eat
sure
rocks like they're doing in Venezuela.
Eat rocks.
But they're equal. They divvy up the rocks equally. Causes gallstones, but okay. Here's Tyler Eifert again. Fast forward 15 years, it's sad to see where we are today, divided. In this world of turmoil, I still believe in one thing strongly, and that's the flag and everything our country was built on. Amen, brother. As I stand for the national anthem, I don't want there to be questions of why I'm standing or if I will kneel. I want there to be a clear understanding of why I stand. I want there to be a clear understanding of why I respect our flag and why I love our country. Fast forward another 15 years, and hopefully we will be able to look back at these years unified with pride as Americans. And he goes on. He talks about some charity he works. He's not trying to disrespect those, which I don't agree with. He should be disrespecting those that are sitting for the national anthem. But it's a powerful statement.
Very powerful. And you know what? It won't get as much play as Michael Bennett's lie-based claim out of Las Vegas that cops just targeted him out because he's a black man.
Turned out to be a big fraud.
It turned out to be a big lie.
Hoax. So you can get that on Medium Medium.
Let's put it up on TLD, hon.
Medium.com.
Is it up?
It's up there.
Okay, go to TLD, The Liberty Daily. You'll find
TheLibertyDaily.com. And I think you will find it. You will find a story about it and a link to the actual full, complete statement that he made. God bless him. That's good.
Tyler Eifert jersey now.
And it makes me not want to boycott the NFL, which I'm about 80% of the way there.
Like Tyler Eifert and JJ, that's what's up.
And didn't Dak Prescott make it?
Dak Prescott, yes.
He goes, I ain't gonna hate my country.
My QB in my fantasy league.
Oh my gosh, you had speaking of America hating communists and open borders advocates, you had a little bit of a story on something that was going on as far as like the Team Obama trying to influence a foreign election somehow.
Hush your mouth. Trying to influence a foreign election? I thought that was unheard of.
It is unheard of. We just can't do that unless it's, Obama.
Then so, it's okay. The left is really concerned that Angela Merkel is going to lose her position as chancellor in Germany. So an Angela Merkel ally decided to put out posters featuring the image of Obama from his Hope, lie-based Hope. Remember that Hope poster from 2008? Turned out just to be dope. Not dope in a good way either.
Like hope and change, baby. Hope and change. Get that hope.
You better hope you got some change after Obama years. But anyway, so he put out a poster of Obama. And
in Germany.
In Germany, because she's up for re-election, and apparently Obama, being the Marxist that he is popular.
Well, they got a lot in common. They're both open borders advocates. Right. They both want to, fundamentally transform their country by letting in Islamic terrorism.
Exactly. So we looked into it. We're like, well, did Obama have anything to do with this? I mean, was he behind it? Okay, it might have been an Angela Merkel ally that did this, but he used an actual quote from Barack Obama in November 2016, his last trip as president. They don't say an actual date. I don't know what date it was. I don't know if it was before or after the election. But, since the election, we've heard all this stuff. Oh, Russia trying to influence the election.
I remember this quote, though.
Influence the election. He said, he made an impromptu endorsement of Merkel and said, if I were German and I had a vote, I'd support her. I don't know if that hurts or helps. Barack Obama trying to influence a foreign election. His people went over to Israel and tried to oust Bibi Netanyahu as prime minister. But that's okay. He stood on the stage with Angela Merkel.
But Russia
outright tried to influence the results of their election.
Right, but somehow that's okay. That's not a double standard.
That's not.
Yeah, it's not a double standard at all. Okay, moving right along here. MSNBC Katy Tur. God, I need to come out with a nickname for her. Katy Tur. She said today, all the Democrat talking heads are sitting around, they're shooting the crap over Hillary's messed up book and, still crying tears about the election loss and, what the hell are Democrats going to do? They can't import
What the hell is going on?
They can't import the illegals fast enough to, replace the American voters they turned off. What the hell are they going to do? So Katy Tur, in all of her infinite wisdom, has a plan here. She wants to know why the Democrats don't just send over lefties from California to.
Is she making a call to Soros?
Huh? Well, I think they're already doing this to poison states and turn them to the left, to ruin them. And California's already been doing this for decades. They ruined Washington State. Ruined Oregon.
Ruined Colorado.
They leave California, which they've turned into an absolute third world hellhole in many areas. I mean, there's still, despite their attempts to reach equality, what you have in these commie hellholes, or you have the really super duper rich. You got Hollywood there. you've got Silicon Valley there, and then, you know, you drive 3 blocks and you're dodging bullets.
Right? Tijuana.
Yeah, it's an absolute hellhole. And, you know, just drive around. I mean, last time we drove to California, it's like I was afraid to walk in a Walgreens in one place. It's like, man, I'm afraid that I'm going to come out and the car's going to be sitting on bricks.
Right?
But anywho, they ruin the state of California, and, you know, they make it unlivable. And so then what they want to do is take and move to another state that actually is a very nice state, and ruin it too with the exact same policies that ruined California.
And wonder what happened. I remember years ago, this was late 90s. I was at a car dealership doing a software installation in Denver. And I remember looking at houses in Denver, and I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe. I mean, I was from Texas. I couldn't believe the price of these POS houses. Mm-hmm. And I remember the people at the dealership saying, yeah, these stupid Californians have come in and ruined our housing economy.
Right. Yep, same thing happened in Washington. I mean, we have a daughter that lives up there, and she'll send me this absolute dump. You know, 900 square feet, that's $800,000.
Fixer upper.
Fixer upper, $800,000.
With a $500 HOA fee that gets you nothing.
Yeah, $500 a month HOA fee. I mean, that's a car payment. They get you nothing. Okay, so let's listen to Katy Tour now. I'm sorry, you're going to have to listen to, there's a social justice warrior on there that's doing some heavy-duty race card abuse, but let's just play this here. Sorry. Here we go.
And every Democrat who has won the presidency, including Barack Obama, succeeded in doing that. And, you know, so I'm not a strategist.
And that's the chunk that Donald Trump...
What he's talking about is reaching out to... reaching out to white voters, which, you know, they lost in a lot of those key states like Wisconsin, Michigan, you know, the Rust Belt, Pennsylvania, and they lost states that they hadn't lost in decades.
Can't figure out a way to do that. It's not going to happen, and Dems will be a minority party for years to come.
But the question is can you come out of a Democratic Party going after those working class?
I'm not sure you can. That's
but here's where you're leaving out in your analysis: voter suppression. So voter suppression impacts young people, millennials, people of color, and that's the Democratic base. So
nobody is suppressing votes. Okay, telling someone to get out their ID is not voter suppression, you idiot stick.
But when you're looking at
a state like suppression is going to get somehow cured and it's going to be fixed in the next 4 years?
I think what we need to do is we need to focus on it more. We didn't really talk about it in the lead up to the election because there's studies that say if you talk about it, then that actually suppresses.
Yeah, if you talk about something that doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Oh, wait. I think there was voter suppression actually when the Black Panthers had the billy clubs out in 2008 when Obama ran for the first time, and Eric Holder said, well, these Black Panthers, you know, beating a billy club against their leg like they're going to beat the crap out of somebody, you know, just giving a real subtle hint to vote for Obama or they're going to get the crap beat. That's not voter suppression because they can't be racist because they're black, and it's impossible for... But yet somehow she's got this something in her head that is telling her, I don't even know who this is. They're not saying. She's black. She's an Al Sharpton-like person. And is saying that somehow there's voter suppression because we all know asking for ID when you go to a Democrat Party convention, when you buy a bottle of booze, when you get Sudafed at the pharmacy, you know, when you apply for Social Security, those are all racist things. When you try to get on a plane, they ask you for ID. That somehow must be considered racist because showing ID apparently is racist in the progressive leftist mind.
The vote more. But when you're looking at a state like Wisconsin, where the margin was 70,000, and you look at the data that says 200,000 black voters were not able to vote because of cross-check, then you get into a point.
Because of cross-check, in other words, voter fraud. This is what they want. They want complete voter fraud. They want to be able to vote for the same candidate 10 or 12 times. Forget that you're registered in 3 other states. That's not a problem at all. But God forbid, we ask for your ID. We look on the voter roll and make sure you're eligible to vote. That's not voter suppression.
Yes.
And this is how stupid that leftists think that you are. They want you to believe that requiring an ID to vote is racist, that it's voter suppression. Voter suppression. But you have to produce a voter. You have to produce an ID card or a driver's license to fly on a plane. You have to produce one. Oh well. You have to produce one. I went to try to open a P.O. box one day, and the white attendant at the U.S. Postal Service asked me for my ID. I should have looked at him and said, "Are you racist? Are you trying to prevent me from getting my mail?"
What is that? Mail suppression? Are you suppressing me from getting my U.S. mail?
We can win without as much of the white working class base as Donald Trump.
So there you go, white working class. The Democrats who have manipulated you for all these years and decades, trying to convince you that they were the party for you. They were the party for the little man. All of a sudden, they want to kick you to the curb. Whatever. F you. We're done with you. Let's bring on the illegals.
That's what she's saying. She had some Marxist college professor brainwash her. She's a young woman here. She's been poisoned with the social justice warrior mentality. And she's been, what they're trying to do is divide the country, make the Democrat Party the country of minorities and anybody with a little bit of melatonin in their skin. Not melatonin, what's the word? Melatonin's the stuff that helps you sleep at night. Whatever it is. Whatever makes your skin have a little color in it. And and then they want to do that.
Pigmentation.
Yeah. So they can say, oh, the Republicans are racist. It's just a bunch of white males. That's a strategy here. And you know what? She's straight-faced about it. No, we can win without the whites. They can go to hell.
Yeah, well, remember who was it Simone Sanders, Big Mouth? Simone Sanders, former Bernie Sanders staffer?
Yep.
Who said, no white person should ever lead the Democrat Party again.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's obvious what they're doing. But they don't have any problem with white candidates as long as they're communists. Like Bernie Sanders, he's an old white man.
Oh, Grandpa Byrne.
If you're an old white man, you need to get burned alive. But, you're a communist like Bernie Sanders? We'll elect you. That's no problem.
Why not? Why would the Democratic Party not just recruit people from California to move to Michigan and to Wisconsin? And that seems like such a simplistic answer.
We should do that, Katy.
Oh, they should do that, Katy. Did you hear her? So that's Katy Tour from MSNBC, who is a Democrat operative masquerading as a journalist here. Why don't the Democrats just, line up their buses like they do for voter fraud and pay these people to move to these other states so they can win them back, so we can manufacture an election result? It's disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting.
And with that, I'm sick to my stomach. So we're going to wrap it up here on this Tuesday, September 12th edition of the Burke Brigade. Brought to you by The Liberty Daily,
your conservative alternative to The Drudge Report.
Go to thelibertydaily.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Burke Brigade. We so much appreciate you listening to us. And we would also appreciate if you like our commentary here, the stories we cover, that you tell your friends, tell people on social media to turn into us. You've obviously found us on Spreaker or YouTube or someplace like that, so you've got the link. You know how to do this. You're smart people. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless America.
God bless Texas. God bless Florida. And God, please rescue us from these America-hating leftists. Amen.
Amen.